Everyone thought he had everything: money, power, and a perfect life. But one lie changed it all. When a young millionaire deliberately staged his own weakness to test a woman he loved, he expected betrayal. What he never expected was that the quiet maid in his house would expose a truth so powerful it would shatter his world forever. Stay with me, because this story proves that real love doesn't speak the loudest. It shows up when no one is watching. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because stories like this remind us what truly matters in life. Ethan Cole was 32 years old when he became one of the youngest self-made millionaires in the country. From the outside, his life looked flawless. He lived in a sprawling modern mansion on the edge of the city, drove cars most people only saw in movies, and ran a tech company that grew faster than anyone had predicted. Magazines called him a genius. Business partners called him ruthless. Friends called him lucky. But deep inside, Ethan felt something was missing, something money had never been able to buy. That missing piece was trust. Ethan had grown up poor, raised by a single mother who worked double shifts at diners and cleaned houses just to keep food on the table. When she passed away during his early success years, Ethan promised himself two things. First, he would never be weak again. Second, he would never allow anyone to love him for the wrong reasons. As his wealth grew, so did his doubts. Every smile felt calculated. Every compliment felt rehearsed. Every relationship felt conditional. Then came Vanessa. Vanessa was stunning, confident, and social media famous. She met Ethan at a charity gala, and within weeks, she was everywhere in his life. She admired his ambition, praised his intelligence, and spoke endlessly about their future together. To the world, they were the perfect couple. But late at night, when Ethan lay awake staring at the ceiling, a quiet question haunted him. Would she still love me if I had nothing? That question slowly turned into an idea, a dangerous one. Ethan decided to test love itself. He told his closest doctor friend about his plan, swearing him to secrecy. Then, one morning, everything changed. Ethan announced he had been in a severe accident while traveling alone. He claimed nerve damage had left him unable to walk properly. He returned home in a wheelchair, wearing pain on his face and fear in his eyes. His mansion, once filled with laughter and parties, became quiet. Vanessa reacted with shock at first. Tears, hugs, promises of support. But as days turned into weeks, cracks began to show. She complained about canceled trips. She avoided being seen with him in public. She grew distant, distracted, impatient. She said she loved him, but her phone was always more important than his silence. Meanwhile, someone else noticed everything. Her name was Clara. Clara was the maid, quiet, reserved, and almost invisible to most people in the house. She had worked there for years, long before Vanessa arrived. She spoke softly, moved gently, and never interfered. Few people knew that Clara had once been a nurse before life forced her into a different path. Fewer still knew that she carried her own scars. From the moment Ethan returned home, Clara noticed inconsistencies. His breathing, his posture, the way his hands clenched when he thought no one was watching. She suspected something wasn't right, but she said nothing. Instead, she stayed. She helped him in small ways, adjusting his blanket, bringing meals when he skipped them, sitting nearby in silence when the nights grew heavy. She never asked for thanks. She never complained. And slowly, Ethan noticed her too. One evening, after Vanessa stormed out following another argument about their future, Ethan broke down. He slammed his fist against the armrest of his wheelchair and whispered that he was tired of being a burden. Clara, standing by the door, gently spoke for the first time without being asked. "You are not a burden." Her words were simple, but they landed with unexpected force. Over the next few weeks, Ethan found himself opening up to Clara in ways he never had with Vanessa. He spoke about his mother, his fears, his doubts. Clara listened. She didn't interrupt. She didn't judge. She didn't try to fix him. She just listened. Vanessa, on the other hand, was disappearing. She began staying out late, missing appointments, complaining openly about how hard her life had become. One night, she finally said what Ethan had secretly been waiting to hear. She told him she needed space. She said she didn't sign up for this kind of life. She said love shouldn't feel like sacrifice. When she walked out, Ethan felt something strange. Pain, yes, but also relief. That same night, Ethan decided the test was over. He stood up. For the first time in months, he rose from the wheelchair and took a few unsteady steps across the room. His legs were fine. His heart, however, was racing. He called Clara in and told her everything. The lie, the test, the truth about Vanessa. Clara didn't react with anger. She reacted with disappointment. She told him that testing people like experiments can cost you something you can never get back. She told him trust isn't proven by weakness, but built through honesty. Then she revealed her own secret. Years ago, Clara had been engaged. Her partner pretended to be someone he wasn't to gain sympathy and control. When the truth came out, it destroyed her faith in people. That was why she valued sincerity above everything else. Ethan was stunned. For the first time in his life, he realized that the person who saw him most clearly wasn't the woman who claimed to love him, but the one who served quietly in the background. Days passed. Vanessa returned after learning Ethan was fine, suddenly apologetic, suddenly loving again. But something had changed. Ethan saw through the performance. He ended the relationship calmly, without anger or blame. Then came the final twist. Ethan announced his engagement, not to Vanessa, to Clara. The media exploded. Headlines mocked him. People accused him of manipulation. But Ethan didn't care. For the first time, he wasn't choosing with fear. He was choosing with clarity. At the engagement party, Ethan stood and told the truth publicly about the lie, about the test, about losing someone who loved his wealth, and finding someone who loved his soul. Clara stood beside him, steady and unafraid. In that moment, Ethan understood what true love looked like. It wasn't loud. It wasn't flashy. It didn't demand proof. It simply stayed. And as the room fell silent, he smiled, knowing that his greatest discovery wasn't success, but sincerity. If this story moved you, tell us in the comments where you're watching from. What state or city are you tuning in from today? Your support means everything, and your story matters too.